Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Tonight, I'm going to be all over the place. I've got a kind of a laundry list of stuff that I'm hoping to look at, work on, and going to jump around and do. So, first, we're going to start in the happy place of WPF and material design. So, okay. So there was a PR that came in. Um, Here, I can learn how to use a browser. Here we go. So this is fairly similar to. I got a little something on my keyboard. Something that we have on the checkbox style, except for it's effectively an attached property for controlling the size of the radio button. The code looks fine. There was only a couple things I wanted to do with it. Is I was going to push a quick UI test for it to make sure that it continues to work, and then I was going to go through and um, just actually test it out. It's fairly simple and straightforward, and there's already a change here in the demo, so it should be pretty easy to do. So we're gonna come down here and let's see, add remote and checkout. That sounds great. Local master already exists. We're gonna call this one radio button. So worth calling out, if people are forking the repository, I like some people typically do this where they don't realize that once they fork that they're working on master, and so they end up submitting a PR from their master branch. It's not bad. It's just it kind of limits you in a little bit. So, but for one-off things, I'm certainly guilty of doing the same thing. Okay, so let's fire this guy up and we're going to take a look. Like I said, there's already a change in the demo app, so we should be good to go. One other thing that I am going to mention real quick while we're floating around here, there is currently, and this happens every year, so don't panic. Don't panic. If we look at nightly release, oh, am I about to shoot myself in the foot? Oh, yeah. Check for changes doesn't have it. Nightly releases have been failing to push NuGet packages. And the reason is because the API key is expired. Well, unfortunately, with NuGet, you have to gen API keys, and they get stored as a secret, which is fine, great. The disadvantage, I don't actually own the NuGet feed for this library. So every year I have to ping James, the original author, and kindly asked him to go rev the NuGet API key for me. So request has been sent, and I will follow up if it doesn't happen soonish. But I think I just sent it a couple days ago, so no reason to panic yet. I didn't realize that that was why it was failing right away, and kind of forgot to send it. So it happens roughly every year at about this time. So, and I may go find because I think we have a joking email thread where we joke about we chat once a year. It's right around Thanksgiving when the API key expires. Okay, so if we go here, let's see, what which one is radio buttons are under toggles buttons? What are they under? Do no, what are they under? Cards, chips, uh, elevations, fields. Okay, I'm confused. What's it under? Toggles. That's why I'm not finding it. There we go. Bum. Okay, so there should be a radio button. Wait, why do we have checkboxes and checkboxes? Something is clearly wrong. Okay, we're gonna potentially clean some of this up. And then where is our radio button one? Thought was added. Let's see here. Wonder why that number. GAGA. The one right next to it. Something seems off. Did I not get the right branch? Go look here. Toggles. I should have gotten the right branch. The changes. Oh, it was only done in the Material Design 3 demo app. That's what's biting me. That is what is biting me. Okay, let's clean up this demo app while we're in here. Let's see here. Check boxes. There is the first one on 220. And there should be one more further down. Yeah, I don't know why we have this one. This should go away. I'm guessing that probably snuck in with a merge. Let's see here. So we want to do this guy here. Probably after disabled. I think the checkbox one is at the very end, so maybe we go at the very end. Radio button custom size. Let's see here. Toggle buttons. I don't know what we're up to. Radio button large. All right, like this key here for demo display really doesn't care what it is. All that matters is that it's unique. Because what happens behind the scenes is at compilation time, it rips through, finds all of these XAML display tags, creates a string with the content on the inside of it. That way, it knows what to display. And then when you click it, it's literally just a dictionary lookup with that key at runtime. Or man source generator. Okay. Toggle. And then we should have custom ripple size. And there we go. So that appears to work just fine. Okay. So what I would like to do here is I want to just add this style actually needed. Style shouldn't actually be needed here. Because I believe that's, oh boy, why is my machine hanging? That should be the implicit one. Pick that up. Toggle. Yeah. I already delete the checkboxes. Did I delete the wrong one? Checkboxes do we have? There's these checkboxes. There's these checkboxes. Trying to decide if there's anything extra. I mean, this one shows the disabled. This one has disabled check twice. Yeah, I don't think we need all of those. We have another set of checkboxes that I still haven't killed off. No way. 227. Custom size, ripple disabled. That. There's the other round of them. Build these off too. Okay, we're gonna delete a lot of code. Be great. Also, once the NuGet key gets updated, my intent is to push the next update because there's quite a few fixes and quality of life improvements in here. Checkboxes. Oh, we've got an extra divider there. Let's see here. We have two, and they're two different things. What the heck? We've got this border, and we've got this guy as well. What is going? So we have clearly gotten this view all messed up. The rectangle looks like what the rest of it's using. Yeah, so we should kill off the one above it. The border's the outlier. There. That should get us down to just the one. That looks better. That looks better. Okay. To check one more thing to make sure. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so we're just going to push this, and I see no reason not to approve it. Adding sample to WPF. Well, that. Okay. Jump to the pull request. Add my review. My review says approved. And we're off to the race. Approve and run. And that guy is there. We're going to put this on the release notes so that it shows up. Label that as an enhancement. And then enable auto merge. Okay. And off to the races we go. That gets that caught up. Huzzah, huzzah, huzzah. Okay. Next thing. I was tasked with something a little unusual. And so we're gonna attack this from a slightly different thing. So I have this repository here. This is called AutoTyper. This is potentially one of the most useful and yet useless tools I have ever built. This tool simply, so it's a command line tool, and what it ends up doing is when you execute it, it reads it. So one, it only works on Windows. It reads in your clipboard and then proceeds to press the keys corresponding to whatever text was on your clipboard. And there's some options for passing things in and blah, 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 right? The only reason I need this is because there are certain applications that make using a password manager hard. They're dumb. They are absolutely dumb. Where they insist that you should type in your password rather than copying and pasting it, because copy and paste, you might paste the wrong thing. However, that's how a password manager works. I got annoyed. So what did I do? I wrote myself a little CLI application that lets me go through and take what's on my clipboard, i.e. the password I just copied out of my password manager, and paste it via manual keyboard input. Very, very effective. Because I was annoyed. And as a developer, when I can't do something with a computer, darn it, I can build it. So I make it go. And it's got some things for how long to delay. Because it's doing keyboard input, you obviously need to execute the CLI command and then switch from your terminal and put focus in the appropriate text field in whatever app you're going to send it in. Hypothetically, Citrix. Not that I'm going to name names. And there's a couple things here. There is a weird bug with this keyboard library that I pulled in. There's one character that ampersands. There's one character that it gets wrong, which is kind of annoying. And at some point I may fix it, but at present all I've done is gone through and said, you know what? I'm just going to hit regen password until I don't hit one of those. Okay. All of this said, this is a very simple thing. It's using system command line. It's leveraging my CLI new project template. Now, with NuGet config. Yeah, this is what I was wondering about. So there are, if we go out and look at system command line. So there's this, right? And then we also have, if I pull it up over we also so this is the NuGet package, right? It's out here. The big disadvantage of it is last updated date, right? That's its big, that's the big scary thing, right? So if we look here on the README, right, and we can go bigger, we will note that there are these daily builds versions listed here. And so we can go here. And so there are daily builds hosted out on Azure DevOps, which is great. And we can see here, there is a publish date of some of these things floating out elsewhere. And some of these things have a sizable number of downloads, right? This June 24th one has 1 million downloads, right? Small number of users, huge number of downloads. So the question I got asked was around the delta between these two releases. We'll call this one a community release and this one nightly, similar, whatever you want to call it. And how far apart these two things are, and how much effort it takes to take an app from one to the other. Right? That was the question to answer. So what I was curious on is I don't even remember which one of these things I was looking at. Let's see, beta 4, 24, 528. Hey, JC, morning. How we doing? Let's see. Beta 4. I think I'm on 24, 528, 1. So I am on 528, 1. So I am on the internal one here. Okay, so this is kind of opposite of what I was asked, because I was asked how far it is to go from this one. Let's see, 222, 1. I'm curious if this one here exists here as well. Not surprising. Okay, so let's just downgrade this sucker. And I want to see how much breaks, or what is the delta between these, because the question I got asked was, okay, how hard is it to go between these two things? Let's see. So there is CLI configuration just straight up doesn't exist. We're gonna unload the test for a moment. We're about to break some stuff. Okay, so this is get configuration, and I think actually, now that I think about this, I might actually have already covered this in my templates. But you have to spell template for it to show up properly. Okay, so what do I have pending here? Something with my Avalonia one. I don't really want to leave that in. Okay. We may touch Avalonia here in a little bit too. That's on my laundry list of things that I'm behind on. Let's see here. There is. Why did this thing not merge? Sorry. Small. Wait. You pull request on. Auto merge failed. Pull request is on an unstable status. You know what? Screw it. No, it's not. Boom. Done. Okay. Bump that sucker. Okay. I was going to look and see around. I'd love to do. Let's see. View all files. Move my big head to the other side. Got a Velopack question when you're done with this. Okay, cool. We'll take a look at it in just a second. What I was hoping to look at is history of this directory. I guess I can check here. If I look at the history of this file, let's see, and I am looking for a non-dependabot one, because these guys are going to be big. Transitive dependency. Let's see here. What do we got? 2329. So we already jumped early. Let me look at this commit here. What is all in this commit? Because I think this is going to be the one where I actually do the full upgrade of it. No, because this still has CLI configuration. Wow. Okay, so let's take a look. So if I wanted to go through and leverage this, some command line. What state am I in? So I have command. So this is pre-CLI changes. So the word CLI goes away on all of these. So honestly, that's part of the problem. So that changes, that becomes a root command. Okay, let's ignore that for the moment. And then default value factory. Let's see, did this guy have... I think you had to pass in the argument, if I remember right on this one. Let's see, get default value. The aliases get default value. So this thing ends up being something more like this. This becomes, let's see, more like this. And then this goes away. Okay. Sorry, all of this just because I need to get I need to get a delta of what the change looks like for this. So I apologize. Because this is, let's see, collection initialized can be simplified. Oh dear heavens. Yeah, no. Okay. Root command, I think it's invoke. Well, so there's that. What was the old API called on this guy? Min name order parse subcommands. This is where the old stuff is a little more interesting. Add command. Handler, that's what it was. Set handler. That's the magical invocation. So rather than set action, it's set handler. That changes to there. Set handler takes in, I think we can get fancy with this guy. Yeah, because he'll take in value descriptors instead, and it will do the parsing out for us. So this becomes actually, in some ways, easier because we can then do set handler, and we want double string bool. Let's see here. So this becomes double delay value, string content value, bool, both value. That looks like that. We no longer need this. And then down here, I have to pass in my options of delay content verbose. Delay content verbose. That gets me to there. Actually, maybe I shouldn't do that. Maybe I should take the overload that does the invocation context, since that's a little closer to what equivalent would be. So this is, rather than parse result, invocation context. Invocation context. So here. Then this guy has parse result on him. So I think he also has a... Yeah, does he not have it? Or do I have to go through the parse result? Get value for options. So this is, that's what I need. I need that. Nope. Nope. Value or option. There we go. That's all I need. So yeah, thank you, Copilot. You want to do the next one for me too? Thanks. Okay. Can you figure this one out? You need help. It's cute. You can't figure it out. This becomes this. This becomes this. Obviously, there's some hefty lifting around some of that stuff. This then becomes all of there. This becomes root command. Root command. This becomes just return root command. And then this guy up here becomes return get root command. Yeah, that. Thank you. Then we compile. Action delegate command does not take. Oh, this thing probably doesn't take a. Yeah, it doesn't have a cancellation token. The token lives on the invocation context itself. Token gets invocation context. I believe it's just token. Get cancellation token. Yeah. That was my old API. Okay, cool. Okay, sorry for the small detour. Just needed a proof of concept of what this would look like. Create branch. Revert to old system command line. Okay, I will send this off to relevant parties who care about this. To old system command line. Just a sample of the API change. Because I think at least without doing anything mildly complex, that calls out a lot of the key changes. Okay. Close that, close that. JC's got something interesting. Let's take. Okay. Velopack not recognizing app main. Which does not look like. It's strongly recommended that you move this to the very beginning of your main method. Okay. Yeah, so this is an interesting area, and let me take a look at what this looks like. So you've got your main there. Your async main there, which ends up wrapping it. Yeah, let me. And then you were running this on latest VPK, correct? I think so. So there was a new release of VPK. Stuff here real quick and get the terminal. Hopefully. Yeah, so .NET tool date global VPK. Then let me just grab this guy real quick. Code, copy. Here, clone a repo, clone with URL. Oh, dang it. C colon dev temp. Yeah. Click folder, URL, clone. Oh, do I already have it cloned? I suppose I should read the error message. Browse for repo. Look at that. Just, so apparently I cloned this a while ago. And I have a fork. Sure, go ahead and add the fork. Great, thanks. Great. Cloned this project before. Yeah. I forget. I clone a lot of projects. I posted a thing to some colleagues the other day linking to one of my GitHub repositories, which I thought I had made public. Apparently, it was private. And I promptly got heckled because of the sheer number of repos that I had. Okay, so this guy here, we can just do this here. Terminal. So .NET build. Let's just make sure I'm not missing anything. Let's see. What am I missing? Phone assistant being used by another process. Well, that sounds like Visual Studio. I have a strange suspicion that's what's holding on to the file handle. There we go. Okay. .NET publish. Let's see. Out. Okay, so this should be a pub directory with a whole bunch of stuff in it. Yeah. Oh, you've even got a script in there already for me. Sweet. Sweet. Let's see. New release PS1. Let's see. Cat. Okay, so this guy here. BBK download local. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to hit that guy there. And then publish PS1. Oh, nope. That is not how you spell publish. So .NET publish builds all of that. Oh, sweet. So I can just run that. Okay. Let me trash this directory then. Card all changes in folder. Just run that real quick because that'll get me the publish directory. And then I think I just need, let's see, file, VS Code. Only thing I'm not going to be able to do is I obviously don't have this network directory. We're going to turn that sucker off. And then I should be able to... Yeah, I know there's the return there, but I'm just going to save myself some trouble. And let's see, beta channel, phone assistance. Oh, cool. You're using the channel stuff too. Cool. I like it. 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 Okay. And then we will come back here. And then forgot the name of the script. New release. That's what we were doing. New release. And then let's see what. Found a method which does not look like your application's entry. Hey Izzy, welcome. So JC has a WPF app with a Velopack warning that's showing up. This little ugly thing, right? Oh, that's not the right. That's not what we're going for. That thing there. So we're gonna currently diving in and taking a look at it. I'm glad to know I'm not the only one where it's freezing cold out. It snowed where I was this morning. Not okay with that. Not okay with snow. Now it wasn't much snow, like just a white layer on top of everything. Okay, so first question I have on this. Let's see, where is the entry point defined? So we are there. We are there. That is interesting. Now I'm kind of curious what it looks at. Or I'm walking to work today. Yeah, let's take a quick gander over here because I don't remember the conditions that it looks for inside of here. Because I've certainly gotten bit by this one as well. So just for everybody's knowledge, the reason for this warning, and it is a warning, not an error. At one point, it was an error, and we downgraded it because there was too many edge cases. The problem with doing this call late is when it's running through its update process, it might need to kill the app, right? Like when it's doing the restart for the new version. So if you do this late in your application, it means that when Velopack wants to run, it has to do things like spin up all of WPF. You don't want it doing that. That's a bit of a waste. And so it's not necessarily bad. It's just really wasteful and slow and a poor user experience, which is why it was an error. And then we downgraded it to a warning because there was enough cases where people were like, well, but I don't actually control the main and I can't insert it there and I have to do it in this other place. It's like, fine, whatever. Right? It's a warning. So it's not, your app won't break. It will still work. It's just, it's kind of obnoxious to have. And I wonder if it's simply, it's not just yelling because it's not at the beginning, is it? I can't imagine that's the reason, but let's just, we're gonna hit this real quick while it runs. Oh, wait, that's not gonna work. No, stop. I gotta run these commands in order because I need it to actually build. Real quick, your build script doesn't have the no build switch on it, does it? Release self-contained, false, publish. Okay, cool. Sweet. There was actually an issue with my .NET template on WPF because Nikolai pointed it out to me over the weekend. If you use it and you uncomment the sections that were around single file distribution, and you use the publish command, you end up with a slightly invalid executable. I do not understand what changed with the SDK, but if you run the .NET publish with no build on it, it misses something. The executable is a little bit smaller, and I could not figure out what it was missing. So I left comments in there because it's an optional thing in my template. I'm like, I'm not gonna remove it. It's still useful, but it was for one very specific use case. So I'm like, I'll just document it and call it a day. That way, at least the next person doesn't get bit by it. Okay. Let's see. Potentially overwrite files. Yeah. It does not look like, yeah. So let me go here. Okay, why does it think this isn't the entry point? Why do you think this isn't the entry? Okay, so here we go. So it loads the assembly, pulls the module definition, and then search assembly for Velopack app. Search method. So people who are unfamiliar with this is literally pulling apart the assembly at the IL level and going hunting through this. Search all. Okay, search entry point. So in order for this thing to search assembly for Velopack app. Okay. So this came back. No. Could be regular program main or async main has a slightly different signature. So if result contains program and result contains main. So the question is, what the heck did result come back at? So it really is just a string comparison. That gives me a little bit of pause. Oh, it's because it's inside of app. Oh. Yeah, Izzy, and I think it could be related to the new Net9 SDK, which because I publish single file on a lot of my WPF apps. I have to go look at it. Nikolai had hit a very specific problem when he ran the publish. Oh, that's what it was. It was prompting to install. If you ran the publish, it would prompt you to install the desktop runtime, despite it already being installed. That was it. Like if you installed the runtime, it would then work, but it was failing to detect the pre-installed runtime unless it installed it, and I do not know why. So the whole reason why you're getting this one, this is probably a bad check, JC. This is probably just a really bad check because this thing is asserting that it has to be inside a program. kind of yucky. Kind of yucky. So that's the whole reason why this thing is failing, is because the path that it found is inside an app. It feels like if we've already got this module open, like it feels like if there's a managed entry point, we should probably just use that to know. Yeah, like your app is fine. There's nothing wrong with what you've done. Like this is you're right. This is a fairly standard way of doing this. It's just because you move this into here, whereas some like here, I bet you this fixes it. Public class program, right? If I take your main method and go, oh, stop it, stop helping me, right? And we just pull this sucker on out, and I plop it here, right? So that goes like that, that goes like that. Ba-ba-bum. And then I think I have to tweak it here, don't I? Because you should have a startup object program. And now if I rerun the commands, publish, new release, yes, and there it works just fine. Yeah, so it's literally the name of the class is the only difference. That's kind of dumb. That is kind of dumb. This does feel like a Velopack problem, especially since this guy here should have the main entry point. And I feel like rather than having search assembly for Velopack app, like this guy here, because I'm willing to bet we are hitting this thing right here. Where did he get entry point from? Yeah, manage entry point method. Yeah, so it's probably coming in here. And then it's coming through all the top level types hunting it. And I'm willing to bet we're hitting this thing here. And I think okay. Sweet. Yeah. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what we are going to do. I already got Velopack open. Let's see here. Go here. Let's see. Create work tree. Yeah, so work tree branch to create. We're going to call this main detection. Great work tree. Oh. Yeah, open now. Okay, so boom. Okay, so if we have this, let's just fix this, right? Like if only I knew somebody who worked on Velopack who could take care of these problems for me. This is literally only invoked in the one place. Yeah, it's literally right here. Obviously, result being null is needful, and then this is just escaping from markup. And so I think what we actually want here is something like try find. Oh, how about just try? Basically, what I think I want here is actually bool, and then out string boom. Velopack app location, right? I kind of want that. And then I'm going to go here. And actually, this is older style code. Just because it's an out parameter, I want to be careful. Let's see. Not null when true. Right? Oh, do I have nullable annotations? Oh, I probably don't. I probably don't because we are. Yeah, I don't have nullable annotations. Okay. Okay. Probably why this guy's squawking at me too. Yeah. Shut up. Okay. Got it. Old school coding. And so we get rid of that. That's interesting. Oh, I hate that so much. So this result here, so this is a variable declaration that is then being reused down here. That's dirty. Return false. And then this becomes null. So we're gonna pattern match this. Is and you can't reuse the variable because true. Right? So actually this should be a return false. Because the question is, should we show because there's three cases, right? Of is it in your actual main method, right? Is it not? Let's do entry point result. All right, we'll do this. Boom. Top level type result. Do that. Okay. And now I think guy here is only invoked in the one place. Boom. Right? Quick material design styles question. Fire away, Izzy. So let's see. If we want to handle the false cases, out string result. So in both the false cases, we want to fall into here. And then that goes away. If null, we go into here. That's about to throw. In the true case, which is down here, get that. And then in the last case, we get that. And now we are no longer dependent upon the method being called main or whatever else, right? I think I like this better. Oh, I am not passing the main module. There. There. That looks nice. That look all purty and stuff. And I think we've got a test on this area. Bum, bum. What is... Huh? Could have been in a clean state. It was in a brand new work tree. Let's see. Is there a set of colors that would be good to use for notifications? Red for error, orange for warning, gray for info that will match with shades of the theme. Ooh, that is a good question. So for errors, yes. There is And I can grab it here. My gray looks horrible next to the secondary color. Yeah, so there is an airbrush that you can leverage for the air case, at least. The sorry. Speaking of Velopack, Kalen just came online. Themes where oh, there is the resource dictionary with the keys on them. I guess we could go to the generator as well and grab them there. My generator. Tools, resource generation. Palette. This. Nope. Theme colors. This is the. So there is the valid material design brush validation air key that will give you a convenient light and dark one here. This is effectively your reds on all of these. For the other colors, you probably are best off rolling your own brush. I'm trying to think because it's going to be like what is a good warning versus info level is really dependent upon your theming that you're doing. Let me look. I don't even think look here. Color system in here calls out a bunch of stuff related to it. There are, yeah, because I don't think there's a defined set of things for. I'm using default theme and my green looks. Sorry, just rereading that. I think you're going to end up needing to define your own effective tiers of colors depending on what you're doing. It gets more complicated if you allow the user to set their own colors, or even just toggling dark and light can become an interesting one. Yeah, static versus dynamic. Yeah, because they don't really cover it even in Material Design 3 where they added a tertiary color to work on it. It really is just primary, secondary. Apply colors, define new colors, adjust existing colors. Yeah. The other thing that you should be aware of, you may have seen this before, is down inside the material design colors guy down here, there is a, where is he? There is some underneath this color manipulation. There is some really, really helpful APIs down here. I spent a great deal of time trying to re-implement these appropriately. Whatever you end up picking, you probably want to leverage like this ensure contrast ratio to make sure that you get appropriate foreground background. Like if you're setting up a custom background to adjust, this is the same stuff that ends up getting used inside of the library for trying to figure out which way things go. And so you can kind of use this to shift stuff around a little bit and come up with a reasonably good contrast ratio. But I think what you're probably going to end up needing to do for notification type stuff is define those yourself. But yeah, it is the idea of red, orange, gray kind of situation. I've also seen people go blue. Is another common one for info, but a lot of that depends on the color scheme of your app. Like if orange is in your color scheme, it's a bad option for warning. Let's see. Next question. Get cracking. Is there a way in the GUI to apply a specific commit to the current branch, equivalent to git commit hash? I have stuff up on material design PR 3667 and need to apply each commit and turn to a new branch and figure out which change causes the test to fail. Ah, yeah. So the need to fix that here in a second. So what you are probably looking for. This one here, right? So let's see. Check out this one. So this guy here, right? So we've got 1, 2, these ones. So there's a couple ways to go through and do it. One of the simplest is just go with a detached head. So if you just right click on a commit and say check out commit, you'll see this little head thing here, and you can just jump yourself to a particular commit and you can walk them through one at a time, right? If instead you're like, well, I want to spin a specific branch and walk this through one at a time, we could do create branch, foo, right? And oh, I apologize, my zoom is not very big. Let me make it bigger. There we go. So foo, and then I'm interested in this branch here. So the way to kind of pull it across is going to be the cherry pick. And so then you can either choose whether you want it as just pending changes, but then you can go through and just cherry pick one at a time back over to kind of walk your way through. But again, sometimes if I'm just walking through the history of a branch, I might just go detached head and right click check out at each step of the way and just walk through it that way. And if you need help, JC, let me know too, because I realize I did some of this last stream on here and I saw the thing fail, but hopefully it wasn't my fault. Here's hoping. For what it's worth. No, it was my fault. Oh, good. I need to do it for each file. Oh, you want to grab the individual files across. Oh, yeah. Okay, let me reset foo. So this is actually one of the things that there is an outstanding feature request for, because ideally what you'd like to do is pull individual bits of this and bring it across. There is not currently anything in the UI that will do individual files. What I often do as a way around this, so there are tools, specifically Writer, that I am aware that give this to you as well, which Writer is now free for open source stuff, so do with that information what you will. What I will often do is I will often cherry pick, say no when it asks if I want to immediately commit, because now I have it in a pending state, and I can then go through and choose what I want to discard or stage. Right? And this now lets me bring that stuff through. So for what it's worth, that is an option. It's kind of yucky because you can go, oh, okay, I don't want the converter ones. Let's throw the converter ones away, and we'll just keep this change, and you can go through. So in my mind, the feature request that I think is out there is being able to do it at the file level, and then being able to do it even smaller than that at the individual hunk level. Because sometimes it's like, yes, I would like this change from the file and not this other one. And so it's like, I want to cherry pick, not the whole commit, not just a file. I want to cherry pick this individual change in this file from this commit. Bring that. Right? Like, you can always copy and paste, but yuck. So yeah. So that hopefully makes it a little bit easier. Okay, one of the other things that was on my list tonight, we may change gears slightly. I may get a pairing partner. Kaylin may jump in and we may continue on one of the other things because I was going to go through and do it. And same rule that I gave him. You have to promise not to laugh at me. I have been slowly learning Rust. And I am at the point where I can at least understand why people love the language. I don't think it is replacing my beloved C sharp, but I can at least have a appreciation of why other people like it. So, but there's a decent chunk of Velopack stuff that is written in Rust, and so it is interesting, and so we may do some, we'll call it lower level Velopack stuff. But he said he needed a few minutes, and I don't think he realizes the curveball I'm about to throw at him. So there's that. So 1 second, I need to stand up a calendar invite real quick. Because in order to actually do this, I need to be able to open a connection. And I would like to exit out of Teams. Here we go. Oh, shoot. There is one here. How do I... Oh, this is a Google Meet link. Oh. That thought. Hold that thought. You might have a... Sorry, I gotta spend a quick second being able to adjust some stuff. Click to allow. Allow it. Let me pick my camera. Yeah, that's because you picked the wrong camera, darn it. And then now it should turn on. There we go. And oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, well, at least it has all of that going. And okay, well, this may get interesting. I might have to wing this. Yeah, no problem, JC. And hey, thank you for the contributions. I really appreciate it. And we will see about getting that change over here onto the VPK stuff. Why does it not show a change? Again. We made a thing. Do I have 2 checkouts? Oh, I might have to, ooh. I made a work tree, not a branch, and this is a great example. Okay, so if you play with work trees, this will bite you because I've now messed it up multiple times myself. I made a work tree, and then I promptly proceeded to use my little pinned Velopack solution pointer. The problem is your work tree is in a different directory, which means I made the edits not in this folder, but in the main folder where the repo is checked out because I'm used to playing with branches. That's not how this works, right? So if I go back to develop, right, the main one, where is my... Oh, it made MSI installer my master. Oh, that's horrible. That's horrible. Okay, I'm gonna have to clean this sucker up at some point. Okay, so short version, this thing is a poorly named work tree, no actions. I'd like to rename you. I'm gonna have to change that. Oh, that made a different work tree. Oh, you jerk. So it's there. I want to remove this work tree. Yep. I would like to local branch, switch on to main detection. There we go. Okay, so I've got this. Got this. So, detecting main method in that head in things other than program. Right? Boom. Okay. So that goes there. But oh, I see. It's because it's following the name of the branch. Oh, so I don't want this. Remove this work tree. So one of the things that's worth noting, right, is these little icons here. Your home one versus your trees, right? If it has a tree icon, it's a work tree. Right? The hint is in the name. Seriously? Visual Studio, I can only assume that was your fault. Okay, so main detection, why do you think you have one to push? Let me guess, your upstream is probably set to, yeah, that's dumb. Galen, were you wanting to use the Google Meet stuff? Or I can always spin a Teams link is my other options. Yeah, I will admit I am definitely not used to them. There we go. That cleans that up. World's happy place again. And then we'll get this guy going. Don't need you anymore. Don't need you anymore. I only need you. Okay, so what I really wanted to do though is check and see. That's why I had the compilation there that surprised me. Is I not realize I was hanging out in the wrong area. I need to go here. And then let's see. I was going to close out of this and see about pulling in some extra handling here. Sorry, Kaylin. I also didn't realize when you sent the invite because it showed up as Thursday on my calendar that it started on Wednesday. This is the problem with midnights. And so I had the wrong day in my head when I had said Thursday or Friday. I was forgetting that Thursday and Friday are different days for you. My NDI. Seems you moved my cheese and now I can't find it anymore. I know for certain it will want me to reinstall the NDI stuff. And I'm looking for where the button moved to. Production tools, there we go. Oh, it has them already installed. Let's see. Yeah, that would be a nice thing. And honestly, I run a UTC clock on my as one of my secondary clocks on Windows for that exact reason because it's the only way I can keep track of things. Let's see here. The link to share. And there, let's go there, let's go there. Okay. So, copy the link. I'm going to drop a meeting link, Kaylin, by the way, for a Teams call. It makes it easier for my OBS for streaming purposes. Okay. All of that said, I was looking to see if there were tests specifically around this. I don't know that there's going to be specific ones for this. I think they're somewhat implicit. Let's Let's see here. Oh, here we go. Non.NET binary passes. Great. Published single file passes. Published .NET 6 passes. Published 4.8 passes. Okay, so at the end of the day, what I'm really looking for is, if I want to do this, I need a gen 1 up, because I don't think I want to tweak these ones. So I think what we're looking for... I think what we're looking to do is bring in an alternate one, because you can see these ones here are leveraging the samples that we have. We do have a C# WPF one. Where's the main in here? Kind of wondering if I move this into here, if this, how much that makes people hate me. So if we do this, we're gonna do this, bring this forward, put that there. That's all fine. That's all fine. That's all fine. And then if we torch this, and then we just need to adjust this guy here. Yeah, so something akin to this. Let's just make sure it builds and runs. Let's see. Let's see here. And now we just have to change the references that we're all relying on that static. Da-da-da. Come on, Copilot, help me. You missed one. Or, because it clearly wasn't user error. Thank you. There we go. That cleans all that up. Okay, so... compile. More than one entry point defined. Let's clean and rebuild. It should only have the one now. What's going on? What did I do wrong here? This guy here was just SQL and program. This is the same as what JC sent, right? All right, now I just got to double check. Just want to make sure I get the setup the same. Startup object. Oh, did I? Is there a... No? There, main. Right? There, main. What am I doing wrong? Phone Assistant WPF app. Yeah, so C# with WPF. Program is more than one entry point, but compile with main to specify what type contains the entry point. I should be. I absolutely should be. Let's check the GUI. Startup object entry point. Not set. Set. Right? That looks shockingly similar to what I just had. Rebuild. Why do I feel like my output window's lying to me? No, it is the same. It seems like it's missing the startup object. But this matches what I thought was identical. Where did I go wrong? Where did I go wrong? Close that. Don't need you anymore. Okay, let's grab this. This app compiles, yeah. There's something else in here that I'm missing? There is a subtle difference there. An async main and a main, but it's not that, is it? Because that is one difference. No. Say it should still find it regardless. Because I just brought it up to here. See, if we undo... Oh, I can't undo my changes because I closed Visual Studio. All right. Because this is... Let's see. App. System Windows application. Just fine. That's doing all of those. What the heck is different about this? Fully qualified name. Oh, that's the difference. That is the difference right there. This is what turns... Oh. This is what makes all the difference in the world. The application definition is what causes the WPF tooling to generate. Okay. Okay. World makes sense again. I forget about this because this is in my default WPF template, and I completely spaced out what that was. Got it. Okay. So that at least gets it building. And now what we should have, which project do we have? This is net 8, but so, okay, so this test here should cover it. Right? So this test should now run and pass and hopefully work flawlessly and will work wonderful. Test Explorer. Be live, Test Explorer. Show me green circle. Red circle. Red circle's not happy. Oh. Green circle. Green circle's happy. Okay. The last thing I want to do is verify. Let's see. State tests. Stage commit. Right. I didn't actually test it on the inverse, so we are going to revert our first commit. No. And then I want to rerun the test because in theory, so same test, but now our previous change has been backed out. So we're back down to the original code here. So now this guy should go red because of how we have changed the test app. So I just want to, the general principle that people will follow is red, green testing. You want to see your test fail and verify that your change fixes it. See, and this is what worried me. My change technically didn't fix it. But I am seeing the warning here, right? And I'm wondering if what I need to do is tweak the test a little bit further. Because what I'd like to see is, I would like to see the test fail and then the test pass. This invoke and throw if not 0. Does this thing give me the standard out back? Oh, look at that. It does give me the standard out. Exactly what I wanted. Let's see. Let's see. So I think what I want to do is test the output for that. Standard out. Pull that back. All right. Let's see here. So this is combine, verify, path, that all of that stuff. Assert does not contain. Right. So I don't want to see that warning. Let's see. You see the warning about Velopack app run being at the start of the main method. Okay, so this test should now fail that assert. I'm sorry, what? Am I stupid? I see the standard output. Oh, is that just going to standard out and not being redirected? Oh, that's a possibility. What does standard out contain? So standard out contains. Oh, hey, let's not dock that window. Thank you, Visual Studio. Let's see, determining. Oh, so this is just the .NET publish. Where is the count log entries? Ahaha, this is what we actually want to test. Got it. We want to test this guy. That's what we're going for. Cool. Okay, so we don't want that. We want to look at logger. And we want to go with entries. Let's see. Assert does not contain logger.entries, and we do not expect to see, because there should be an overload in here that takes a delegate callback. Read only, blah, 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 predicate. That'll work. That's an enumerable. That's an IEnumerable. Log entry. And let's be a little more explicit here. We're gonna break this thing up. That's becoming an ugly looking line. Let's see. So return log entry dot, oh, is it level? Log level warning. So we do not expect to see. So you know what? We can do this with white space rather than with curly braces. Okay, and that goes there, that goes there, that goes there, that goes there. Format that out there. Okay. Tests go red. I want test to be red. I want to put our change back, and I want test to go green. There we go. Test is red. That's what we want. So let's go back here. Unstage changes, test, stage, amend, amend. We pretend like nothing happened. Okay, so our change has, the old code is currently present. That's what we're going for here. So old code present, just going to confirm this. Test red. When we put our change back, which in this case is revert pending, right? So now compact util has all of our changes. And now we run it, it should go green. And then I feel a little more warm and fuzzy. There we go. Okay. I think that feels a little better rather than always relying on the entry point to be called, or always relying on the entry point being in program rather than being arbitrarily placed, since it can be arbitrarily placed. Just make sure we didn't break anything else in this area. Because there's a chance we broke something. It's probably not very likely. Uh-oh. Publish single file failed. Oh, is this a version check, though? Yeah, Velopack product version. Okay. I am not concerned about that. That is an artifact of my local environment. Okay. Okay. Push that. Push that. And then we can see about getting that guy reviewed. Okay. 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 All right, just checking stuff here. Oh, great timing, Kaylin. Let's see. And I'm going to get myself flipped back over into here. And I need to download. Sorry, Kaylin. I just like my NDI support. Okay, so I'm going to see about pulling in Kaylin. So this may be a small adventure. Unlock that. That goes there. Let's see here. Sorry, I gotta find my way in. Bum. Let's see here. Sorry. This was only somewhat on my agenda. Okay. Will we be touching Rust tonight? Stand by. Yes. But only under the stipulation that you can't laugh at me. That's the one stipulation. Gotta get my things straightened out, and I think. Sorry, I gotta. Normally, I would prep all this stuff ahead of time, but I didn't know I was doing this, so there's that. But I think in a convenient turn of events, I have my stuff set up and ready to rock. So, I will preface this with a couple things. So, first of all, put that screen up so I can see. Here's the idea. So, Velopack currently installed into local app data because it is a directory that's writable by a user, doesn't require elevation. Very convenient for the user, but inconvenient for people who would like to install into program files to have an app shared across users. So the generalized feature request is, hey, we would really like it if we could install into program files. On top of that, there's also been requests around the installer of, hey, we'd like to prompt for like license acceptance and that kind of thing. I'm going to mute my mic real quick. Do I have a BRB screen set up? Hang on. Might have this. Hey, Caitlin. Don't worry, no one can hear you yet. I can hear you. Dial my volume up over there. And then I don't have a Be Right Back screen set up for my stream. So you guys will just have to hold that thought real quick. We're going to do this maneuver. And let's go turn that off. And I will be right back. Okay, I think we're good. Kaylin, are you there?
I am here. Hello.
Yay, we have audio. No video, but we've got the hidden voice. So for people unaware, Kaylin is uh, the brains behind Velopack. We'll put it that way.
You're too
Um,
kind.
well, yeah, it is the truth. He is also the one who has decided that it is okay to teach me Rust, and we'll see how poorly that goes. Um, Backing up to what I was saying a moment ago. So the premise behind what we are doing is wanting the installer to be able to support protected directories like program files. And what that means is when the installer runs, we have to do the UAC prompt in Windows to be able to notify the user you need access. Similar things have to occur when, say, an update occurs or an uninstall occurs. So we had started down the path of getting some of this in and done. So we've written a couple functions already to be able to go through and do this. And again, this is Rust, and I am not a Rust expert, but that's why I have smarter people with me. And I think my colleague is hanging out in chat as well. That's the other pink diamond who will. I have informed him he's not allowed to make fun of me.
Well, I don't know Rust very much either, so it's blind leading blind at the moment, I think.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so from our notes before, we had updated the first two, but we needed to add the same elevation checks to the update exe, and then there was the string escaping problem that we had seen before with the backslashes, and that's where we were headed
Right.
next.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the install and uninstall, I think we tested working.
Yep.
So update would logically be the next place.
Yep, and I think that is
So the command is called apply for this one.
okay. So, and it's going to be here or here.
Yeah, so there's a different implementation for each operating system. This only applies to Windows.
So, but this is the root level command that executes, and I guess then the question is, what hooks do we have here? Because it's this that I'm looking for, correct?
Yeah, so the top level generic apply just kind of figures out what package needs to happen and waits for the parent process to exit and whatnot. So we haven't actually done much yet by the time we get into apply windows. So we can,
Okay.
I think, just do our kind of elevation check somewhere at the beginning here.
So I'm thinking probably earlier is better before we get into things like loading the bundle, reading the manifest, and all of that. Kind of my
Yeah, sure.
thinking.
Doesn't matter. It definitely needs to happen before the prompt for missing dependencies, though, because then we can avoid some extra UAC prompts.
Yeah, agreed. What is this dialogues get silent?
If you use the silent argument, we don't
Oh,
want to show any dialogues.
got it. Okay. Um, okay, so then the first question is, do we actually have, because before we had root package, I guess we might need to come down a little lower.
So old locator is passed in as a parameter to this function, so we can just move line 62 up.
That goes there. Let's see. Thank you for catching up. And then this, I think, is probably just missing the. Nope. What are you unhappy about here? Come on. Cannot find function is directory writable
Uh,
in create windows. So I'm
so
just.
what we're having here, what's happening is we have a module named Windows, which is part of our crate, but there's also the Windows
Uh,
crate, which has Windows bindings. So it's thinking the wrong thing at the moment.
got it. Okay.
So we can fix this by just using in the top crate there, we should be able to just use Windows, which is our module.
And then that gets me past that. Great. Okay. Because that's the rough equivalent of C# where you get the ambiguous usings, right? And you have
I
to
suppose, yeah.
bring it through. Okay. So just going through here. So if the directory is not writable and the file is elevated. So this is the case where we panic and fail out because we've already elevated to admin, but for some reason we couldn't write the path. Something's gone horribly wrong.
Yep.
Right? Admin doesn't have access to do something. And then relaunching as administrator. And then this one here, we don't have our args or anything at this point to.
So we'll have to make up our arguments. Should be slightly easier than what we had to do with setup. Because actually we don't necessarily want to pass in all the same arguments that we did before. Let me just think out loud here for a second. We wanted the update. So, but we're going to have two update processes running, right? So we want the new update process, I think, which is doing the actual update. The original update process probably needs to stick around and do the restart at the end, right? Because we want to relaunch the app, not as an admin.
Right.
Actually, that's a problem that we didn't solve with the setup as well. So we'll have to come back to that.
Put that in my notes so I don't forget about that.
I think there is a way, probably using shell execute, to launch an exe as non-admin. I mean, I don't know, maybe we should just go down that route, actually. Do you have any preference?
Oh, so relaunch as admin and then shell execute as the user? Because
Yeah, so
it's
shell execute always launches the process from Explorer, so we can tell Explorer to launch it as admin. That's what we're doing to restart ourselves. But I think there's also a verb which tells Explorer to run it not as an admin if you are an admin.
got it. Because that was in here. That's this guy here. Does he have? Oh, I don't have the docs here, do I? Oh, I missed that feature. Visual Studio, you can F1 out to get straight to the docs of anything. I was going to see and confirm that we actually have that verb because that wouldn't be bad then if all we ended up having to do was pass something different there.
Yeah. Let me have a look because I had some code for this a long time ago. So let me see if I can find it.
Okay, I'm going to go grab the shell execute docs real quick. Because this does feel like, let's see. Explore. Oh, interesting. Hmm. Might need this, some of these other verbs for something else, but I'm not seeing it. Yeah, I am wondering if it is the.
So Squirrel uses a similar trick with its installer, which is written in C++.
Mm-hmm.
I have found a Stack Overflow answer from someone who has like 600K rep, and he says, "What you're trying to achieve cannot be done easily and is not technically supported."
Oh,
So
excellent. So that sounds like don't do it.
that is what it sounds like, yeah.
Yeah, I am noticing though like I did find the run as, because run as appears to be able to, so run as exe claims to be able to do this.
So if I'm an administrator user and the process is running with administrative privileges, if
Mm-hmm.
I run as the same user, will that be not with the same privileges that I'm currently running in? Like if you had, I guess we could test it. I mean,
It's
you'd have
true.
to launch CMD as administrator and then see if
Yep.
run as preserves the elevation level. I think it probably will, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it will preserve the elevation. Yeah, run as exe appears to be able to do it as long as you know that your user going into it.
So basically, what the suggestion is in terms of the kind of hacky, not supported way to do this is to basically open the Explorer process and then get the token from that process because we know that the process token is not elevated for Explorer, and then start a new process with that token. So I don't think that doesn't feel too hacky, technically.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I
Okay.
guess the question is, what's harder, of keeping our process around, or because it does make me wonder we were uh if we were already elevated, would we want to de-elevate? Well, because if somebody's application, if they had intentionally launched their app as admin, right? Like I imagine I'm Git Kraken, right? I intentionally ran Git Kraken as admin. Would I expect the update to not honor that on a restart?
Well, if the application is running as administrator already when the update gets launched, then we should preserve that. But
Mm-hmm.
if we have had to elevate during the setup, we shouldn't, would be
Agreed.
my instinct. So that's kind of why I was initially thinking if we can keep that original update.exe lying around in the cases where we have to elevate, then that exe can do the restart at the end.
Yep.
I don't think it'll be too bad. So, okay, here's what we basically need to do to make that work. So, in the relaunch self as admin, we need to get the process ID out of that somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So, shell execute, I
Oh
don't
yeah, yeah,
think
yeah.
gives us that.
It doesn't, but there was, what was that other API? There was info. Uh, like process info. There is one that you can feed this handle into and give and get back. Um, was this is
Okay, so we'll need to use shell execute ex, and then if you set the flag no close process, it will give you back the process handle inside the exinfo struct.
mm-hmm.
So we'll need to modify this a bit.
Got it. Okay. Um. So then here. I'm gonna just move this around. So this is going to be the shell, this guy here, right?
Make sure probably use the Unicode version, so a W at the end.
Okay. And then we are going to need our, because this is going to take in that struct for the, how do I get the,
So if you just F12 on that, let's see what it takes. I'll need to import it first, I guess. If you haven't already.
gimme. There we go. I need one of these.
Yeah.
Okay. So that, okay. I'm an idiot here. How do I go about? Oh, never
Yeah,
mind.
close. Thanks,
Thank you,
Copilot.
Copilot. See, asking you shall receive. Now the question is, how close did it get to what we actually want?
You'll probably need to import that struct before we will know.
Good point. Um,
Okay, I'm just gonna open up the docs for this struct.
yeah, I can kind of guess some of these that I can tell immediately are not going to be kosher here. Flatten that sucker up. I don't think I want the handle. I'm fairly confident we don't want that. We intentionally want our working directory. What were we setting down here? We were
Just null.
intentionally setting that null. And then the show. Uh,
Yeah, so what can you F12 on SW normal?
yes.
Just want to see what type this is. Okay, so and then if you just F12 on show window command. All right, okay, so it has an integer in it. Okay, so basically what show window command is, it's a tuple with only one
Mm.
value. So how we access
Oh,
the integer value of this, if we go back to where we're at there. So nshow is expecting an integer, so we can just access the first value of the tuple, which is .0.
oh, okay. Simple enough. I am assuming these we don't actually want to set. I am assuming LP class is not something we care to set.
So we'll need to set every property of this struct,
Oh, we will.
I believe. I think Rust is going to complain if we don't. Yeah. But that's okay. I think we can come back to those. I wanted to point out the mask, which is currently 0, which in order for us to get our process handle back, we're going to need to set the mask C mask no close process. I'll just send you a message with that.
Oh. Okay. Need that.
Yeah. And I'm assuming you'll probably have to do a .0 again as well for that.
Probably.
The spell check warnings are pretty loud. They're like almost hiding the actual warnings.
Yeah, I thought I disabled the extension.
Restart.
Um, there. That told it to shut up. Josh was calling out that spanning default to be able to set the remaining properties to default values if we know that the defaults are what we want.
Yeah. So there's a trait called default, and you can use that to specify what the default values for a struct should be. I don't have any guarantees here that shall execute info w implements the default trait. I mean, we could check that.
Because this is
So you'd be looking for something that says impl default for shall execute info. It might have something like that if you scroll down a little bit. So it looks like it does. It just sets everything to 0.
got it.
Yeah, we might get away with that then.
So
So
this for
we'll still need to set CB size for sure though, because I think Windows
yeah.
won't be happy if we don't do that.
Okay. And then this guy here. Come on. Oh.
Okay, so no close process is already an integer, so we just don't need the dot 0. Okay.
Got it. Not a tuple.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then probably everything else after end show we can get rid of then.
Yeah, because I assume all of that is just going to be zeroed. Okay. What are you complaining about? Oh, my C# is showing through.
Yeah. That still catches me when context switching, especially the if statements, because you're not supposed to put like parentheses around them in Rust, but you have to do that in every other C-like language, right? So that catches me
Yeah.
out every single time.
Do the handle Copilot wanted this? I assume this is the equivalent of just letting it take the zeroed memory, right? Probably.
Yeah, optional handle to the owner window, so we can just leave that as 0.
Okay, and then let's
Right.
see here. Expected raw. Oh, so it wants that? Yeah? That no, am I misunderstanding? Expected raw pointer. Oh, hold up. So it's wanting a mutable, right? That's how I should be reading this. Mutable pointer to shell execute info.
So we'll need to probably make the struct mutable by saying let mute
Ah, got it.
first of all.
Okay.
And then we'll need to get a raw pointer from this, which I don't know if you can just do an ampersand here. We might need to say, well, you can just try that. If it still complains, then we might just have to say as, what is it? The error there?
I was trying to get it to come up. Mismatch type. Expected raw
Yeah.
pointer found reference.
So this is going to be where my Rust and experience shows through. We might just be able to do at the end of that as star mut, or maybe not. Copilot might actually save us here as well. Yeah, so that's what I was going to suggest there, what just popped up with Copilot. So that just with the struct there as well.
Sorry, my. Oh, and then that.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to suggest. I think you'll probably still need the ampersand as well.
Ah, got it. Because I still need the pointer.
I'm not sure if that'll work. If it doesn't work, we can always ask Copilot for a suggestion here. Yeah, it
Okay,
doesn't work.
casting is invalid. Fix using Copilot. Go, Copilot, go. Use mutable reference instead of
Oh,
cache.
yeah, okay. So go back to where we were a second ago. Undo. Yeah, and then in front of the, right after the ampersand, try and mut space. I'm just kind of making this up without the space in front between the ampersand. Yeah. Is it happy with that? Nice.
Sorry, I'm trying to grok what just happened.
So the ampersand is basically saying we want a mutable pointer to exeinfo. The star mut is a raw pointer.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we're casting, again, I'm not a Rust expert here, but we're getting the reference, we're getting the pointer at exeinfo and then casting it to a raw pointer so we can pass it in unsafely to shell execute.
Got it. And raw pointer, that's equivalent to like a void pointer in C?
Yeah.
Ish?
Yeah, it's just an integer.
Got it. Okay. And now in this case, we should actually now have our...
So assuming that this function completed successfully, the handle should be inside that struct we passed in.
Got it. So I just need to check the result on this guy, right? Because we're going to either have result or error, right? Coming back out of this.
Just gonna check the docs. Returns true if successful. So yeah, we get a result. So it's already handled. So what we need to do is, well, we haven't actually talked about this yet, but this function returns a result, and so does shell execute exw. So instead of like explicitly handling the result of shell execute and like saying if it's an error, propagate the error and so forth, we can just add a question mark to the end of line 114. Still need the semicolon. So what that question mark means is propagate any errors up one level.
Got it.
So that will check the result. So we don't need to do anything else with that. We now know if line 115 executes that it was successful.
Mm-hmm. And I assume down
And
here we want to play outside of unsafe if we can, right?
it doesn't change anything, but sure.
Okay. But now, in theory, this guy had this is now the process, right? Because I think what we were going for is we were wanting to make sure that we got back the process so that we could watch it to know when it terminated.
Yeah. Yeah. So in theory, that's right.
And
That
then
should be the handle. So what if we just return that from this function?
yeah, I was just looking at what this is. Do we want to return back a Win32 Foundation handle? Is that, am I reading that right? Is that what this?
We can return a handle. Yeah.
Okay. So if I recall from before, that goes here.
Yeah, just without the parentheses.
And then this becomes okay.
Yep.
That.
Make sure you save the file so we're getting any updated errors here. Because the checks only happen
Mm-hmm.
when you save.
Okay. I think that gets me into a working state.
I would think so. I don't know if we've imported handle.
Probably not.
Yep. And I think we've probably not returned the right type either. Yeah,
Oh,
it just needs to be not without the dot zero.
Yeah.
Cool. That should work.
Sweet. Okay.
Cool. So now we can wait for this process and do the restart. So we don't need to worry about the de-elevation stuff, which is thankfully.
Right. So I'm going to need this. right?
So I think what we'll do is in line 58, right? What we want to do is we want to wait for this process to finish and then return from this function, because the restart logic happens in the parent apply.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, can't forget that. Deploy an update and your app uninstalls itself. That would be really nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bug for you. Right,
So
so
it's
that
actually not it's not actually a PID. So it's actually a
oh,
handle to the open process. So that's even better, because the one of the issues you get with a PID is that we'd have to reopen a new process handle, and there's no actual guarantee that that's the same process we started, because Windows will reuse PIDs once a process exits,
that
right?
is a good point.
So it's good for us that it's a handle. There's not going to be any nice fancy process handle.wait, but I do have code for waiting for processes already.
Oh, yes.
Um, so we don't have to write that. I don't remember what file it is. It's going to be in the Windows folder somewhere, probably util,
Okay.
maybe somewhere near the top of this file, my memory serves.
Oh,
Oh,
I saw the
yep, we
word
just went
wait.
past it. Yeah.
Unhook, wait timeout.
So what function is this in?
This is inside of run hook.
Okay, this is not the wait I was thinking of. Scroll down a little bit.
Environment strings.
Okay, well, I'll tell you where we can find it. So if you go back to the apply, the top level one,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, there's going to be some code at the top of this function, which we've gone past, to operation wait. Yeah,
Operation wait. Ah, here, this guy.
yeah, so that will wait for the parent process to execute. So if we just go into there and see where that is, wait PID is an operation.
This guy here.
So um, let's go into wait for PID to exit there. Okay, so what we have here is it's yeah,
There's your handle, and then wait for single object. So I've already got my handle. Well, but this is slightly,
yeah, this is a bit of a in progress fix. I'm moving everything from WinSafe, which is a different crate with Windows bindings, over to Windows, which is the official bindings.
got it. Okay.
And this is still using the old bindings. Um, so I thought I had gotten rid of most of those. Hmm.
Got it. But this is somewhat close to what, because even though
What are,
this is a different crate, they should both be surfacing up the same Win32 APIs, yeah?
I'm
So,
just thinking that wait for parent to exit, is that using the new crate or the old crate?
um,
Scroll down a bit further. This is using the Windows crate so far, so that's good news, but it's using both, darn. Okay. All right. Yeah, so I guess what we're gonna have to probably do if we want to reuse this
is
would
actually ported over.
well we can probably convert the handle from the Windows crate to this crate's handle type and then pass it in. Um, yeah, there might even already be some code. See what we do with that handle.
Yeah.
So not that one yet.
Query
Keep
information
going.
process.
Oh, that's the current handle. This is getting the parent process is what this code is doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
So no, we don't convert it. We just open a parent handle directly with the new crate.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we can figure this out. I guess let's just roll a new function here, which calls wait for handle to exit. And yeah, that's approximately right.
In Copilot. Let's see here.
The second one is what we want. Yeah. So yeah, the only thing that we're gonna have to fix here is that we'll need to convert it to the other crates handle type. So H process is the win-safe one. Let's just have a look at H process. Oh, okay. Thanks, Copilot. Did that just
Anything
work?
else?
Save that? I'm not convinced.
Oh,
Yeah. You can blast over that. You can redeclare variables with the same name if you want.
oh, that's a good point. I forgot. That was a nice trick that you showed me.
Okay, so if you F12 on H process, let's have a look at what that is. Okay, that's not helpful. Go back. It's a macro, so just hover over it. Maybe that'll help us. So it has that inner C void.
Mm-hmm.
So ideally, like, because we can get the C void out of the other handle type,
Mm-hmm.
and how we would do that is just go handle.0, because that's where that is, right? And then get rid of the from handle method. I'm not convinced this is actually going to work though, because the H process saves this to get the updates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what's going to happen is it's going to say it's private. Yeah, that's what I thought. So
Oh,
maybe just look and see if there's any functions on this H process that we could benefit from here.
sure. So that's
Yeah.
let's
So let's
see.
see if there's anything here. We're looking for a function called like maybe new or something. I doubt it'll be in this. Yeah, from maybe from pointer. Yeah, that looks like that could be the one. Yeah, that'll do it. So in line 19, we just need to add from pointer in between. Should do it. And now it's probably complaining that it's unsafe. So you can just wrap this line. You don't even need to do the whole thing. It could just be that line if you want.
Like that.
No, so right after the equal sign is where you want the word unsafe and the open new brace.
Got it. Because I need just that portion to be unsafe, not.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
There we go. Got it. My C# brain does not like introducing scopes like that, but okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Now we've got a function.
And then that just works, and we're off to the races. Because this should mirror exactly what was being done down here. The only change is where that guy comes from. Got it.
Now, do we want a timeout on this? Or do we want to just wait indefinitely? I think we're probably just waiting indefinitely here in our particular case.
Yeah, only because like there's plenty of things that could pop that the user might just, like, if they're me, put the dialogue on a different monitor and come back to later.
It's
So I
just
don't.
we don't know how long the update's going to happen. So I think like there's a timeout on the other ones because we're waiting for the user's application and we don't control that code. Um, but in theory, there should be no reason why the updater should stick around. I mean, we control that binary, so I don't know if we need to wait for it.
Good point. I guess then do we need to make another change here or leave it as is?
Well, we can either make the wait optional by turning the U32 into an option, or we can just remove the parameter.
Let's turn it into an option, I think. Right? And then this,
Okay. So in wait for single object, it looks like it's also taking an option of the milliseconds to wait. So what we can just do is remove that sum around it.
and then what was the magical? It was
Colon
that
question mark. Yeah,
for,
that's it.
okay, cool. Okay, so then that means if I come back over to here, now that I've got one of these things, I can do, how do I, okay, so I want this.
So it's in, we already have it imported, I think. Okay, we just re-imported it, it's fine. We have,
Oh,
we had shared imported, so you could have written just shared colon colon wait for handle to exit.
got it. So I can do this. That's what I was missing. Got it. Okay. And then don't want that.
Just need to, the second argument should be none.
Okay. That gets me
So
in there.
relaunching self, waiting for it to exit, and then we need to return from this function the new locator. I guess we're gonna have to bring in some code that we've got below that loads the bundle to get the new locator. So those three first lines there,
Uh,
66 to 68 is how we get the new locator. And we need that because we need to return that from this function.
got it. Do we just want to move them up here?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Because that's going to contain the information about where to start or like where to relaunch the app because the main executable could have changed between versions.
Mm-hmm.
And we only know that by opening up the manifest from the update package.
Got it. So then down here, rather than this, I do, yeah, thank you, Copilot.
And that's probably complaining that you've not handled the result. So you can just add a question mark to that.
Say make it someone else's problem.
Yeah.
At least that's the same between it and C#. Question mark means make it someone else's problem.
Yes, but it has to be explicit in Rust, which I like.
Fair. Okay, and then we still need to get the uh, to update from something. We still need to deal
Maybe
with these.
update in.
Yeah. And then these arguments coming in, do they exist here? Exe args, so they do exist there.
So the only thing I think we'll need that we don't already have is the exe args, the restart args, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else we're gonna make up.
Could we just add those args to apply package implementation and call it a day? Is that reasonable?
Yes,
Because I realize I have to then go pass it to all the implementations, even the non-Windows ones, and just ignore it, right?
yes. Let's do that.
Okay.
Actually, wait, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. We don't need the exe args because this elevated process isn't the one restarting the binary, so we
Oh,
don't care.
okay. Well, I do care a little bit because I still have to pass it something.
Right, but not the args. All we want to do is tell it to apply the package and do nothing else. So it's not going to restart. It's not going to apply anything. So what we need is to look at the command line help probably inside update.rs.
Update rs.
It'll be down or up one level in the folder hierarchy here.
Yeah, so here.
Yeah, update rs. So the command is apply, and what are the args for that? If you scroll up a bit.
Here. Sorry. Let's see.
It'll be right at the top. There you go.
We go root command apply.
So we want to pass in the package, which is 24, and we also want to pass in no restart.
Got it, because we're going to build it up. Joshua seems happy that we're using clap builder syntax. I'm going to trust that that is a happy thing.
Nice. So we have another like Rustian in the Twitch.
Yes. Well, this is the same Joshua you met before. You remember way back when to hacking time.
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay.
Hello again.
So I need no restart, right? And then we need package. And then, right, so I'm going to end up doing something like this. And then I'm going to need to get the, I have the package path, don't I?
Yep, you do. Yeah, it's passed in.
There, that thing. Right, so I have package. That? No.
So
not quite right.
You have package as a path buff. The args array we have is an args of string reference.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're going to need to do is probably define package as a variable, like line 58 or something, like package string or something, call it. Yeah. And then that could be toString lossy, which is not quite a string yet. So then we also need to call .toString on it, on the line 59.
Ah, right. Oh, right. Because if I do it down below, I will lose it.
Yeah, so we want an owned string there so that we can pass a reference into the args array here.
So then I do.
That's right.
Right, like that.
Mm-hmm.
Ah ha ha. I are rusty. Okay. What are you complaining about?
So we need to pass in an owned array of strings. So what we just did was not right. So we can just pass in that actual string, and then the other two, no restart and package, are currently borrowed, but we need to own them. So you can just call .toString on those.
Right, I think we ended up having to do this on the other one too. There we go.
Okay, nice.
Okay. There's that to do. Great. Okay. I think that works then. So I should still have the package sitting around to test this from what we did before.
Well, it won't have the new updater in it, so
Oh,
you'd
that's
have
right.
to
So I have to
replace
copy in.
it.
I have to copy in the new updater.
So it could just be easier to run the dev build in Avalonia because it'll just create a new package now with your new updater and everything.
Got it. Okay. Let's see here. So that is in samples. here, and it's this
The dev
build.
scripts in the dev scripts folder.
Oh, I see here.
Yeah.
Build win. So it's actually this that I want to execute. Easiest way to do this, I think, new terminal. Yep. CD samples, CD C# Babylonia. Then does it actually take a parameter? Oh, it does.
Yeah, that's right. So this will go compile everything for us.
Let's see. Unused imports. So I botched that probably with my overeager control period.
Is that the new .NET 9 reporter for the console there?
Yeah, the was it terminal logger? So you
Yeah.
have it in Net 8 as well. You just have to, it's opt in, whereas in Net 9 it's opt out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty and nice. It showed up on me one day because I run preview builds of Visual Studio, and all of a sudden I did a .NET build, and it was like, there's color, there's fewer lines. I was very confused. And then, if you ever run across the PM Chet Husk, it's his team that owns that area. So I sent him a thank you and said, "This is Purdy."
Do you know if they're using Spectre Console internally?
They are currently not.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There was some debate about it because of their need to own the effectively all their dependencies, because
Yeah.
they refuse to take undue risk. But Spectre's net foundation, so it was like, well, the
I see. I didn't know that because I was wondering, because Spectre Console doesn't get releases very often, and the maintainer's still like around doing things. But
oh
I mean,
yes,
I sent him a bug fix, and it took 8 months to get released or something, and it was like a deadlock that I found.
oh, you should
So,
have pinged me. I know Patrick.
oh, do you? Okay. Well, next time I find a deadlock, I'll let you know.
Yes,
I'm gonna
he's
have
very
to just
nice.
I'm gonna have to step out just for 5 minutes, but
Yeah,
I'll
no
be
problem.
back in just a few. So
Okay, I will go through. I'm gonna kick off this install and see what how damaging I can do. Okay, so from before the magical incantation, uh, so our setup exe um, takes a wonderful set of parameters that we can then go and execute on. So I think now that I've got a new Avalonia one, I just want to validate the setup exe when we feed it in the package to install. And let me just make sure. Let me just check that C:\program files and make sure I haven't dropped it. All right, Teams is insisting on being on top of all the other windows. Let's see. So see program files. Okay, so I have AVA test still, but I think if I check my add remove programs, I'm just gonna move this to the side. I don't know what all I have installed. Oh, whatever. Shouldn't be anything there. Bum. Yeah, so in terms of what is actually installed, I think just that dead one is all that's there. So that should be fine. And now I should be able to re-execute this same command and get the install to go. Because that is the same directory. That is not the right directory though, is it? Just check. Just want to check because I'm seeing I'm at Velopack work trees. This is not quite right. I need to change my working directory. So I want that as the beginning part of this. And so paste. Sharp Avalonia. Let's see, because this is what bit me before being in the wrong directory. Okay, so work trees, Wizard UI samples, C# Avalonia. Just looking over here. So I'm pointing at my screen. You all can't see. Just trust me. My finger is pointing at my cursor. I promise. So releases, which is here, which is what we just built, which should have 1.0 full package, install to that location, execute. And then naturally it dies. Okay, what happened here? So install to loading bundle debug package. System cannot find the file specified. So I clearly botched my input file. Can't I just copy path? That is what I would like to do. I would like to just copy this path because I don't want to think real hard, and I want that one. I want the one that I'm looking at. Paste. There we go. Okay. Okay, now I get UAC prompt, which I don't think comes through, but and then installing should do all the needful. And then if we look in program files, we have thingy-mabobber and we have updated thingy. And more importantly, this update exe should be our new one that we just compiled. So now that we have that, right, because we want updates. Oh, but we aren't checking for updates from the right source, I bet. Where are you programmed to check for updates from? Might just have to uninstall and reinstall here in a second. Where is your update manager, sample helper, get release? Where are you? Are in the shared code. Sample helper. Velopack sample release dir. Let's see. Check for updates. Where do you look for updates? Look at that. It is smart about where to look. Okay, cool. So there are no updates here, right? So running application, and key thing here, this running application is in a protected directory, C:\program files. So we come over here and we say, well, what we would really like to do is build version 101. And we would like to have that compile and run. So this will go through the effort, and what we should get over here when it's all said and done is I should have another package down here beyond just the 1.0. I should have a 101 here in a minute. So we'll pretend like this was an interesting, exciting update to our application filled with wonderful features and bug fixes and a few added bugs just for kicks and giggles. Okay, so we have that. And this guy is now built, so we hit check for updates. Found Delta releases. Great. Go ahead and download. It's going to download the package, which effectively is just copy. Let's see. It's interesting to me. This already kind of gives me a bit of pause, specifically because it was apparently able to to do this work inside of SQL and program files, even though this guy it shouldn't have been elevated. Well, actually, because our setup exe elevated itself, I bet you it is. I bet you
I have
it is.
returned as well.
Welcome back. I
How
got
did
good
everything
news.
go?
Well, it worked. And I'm kind of unhappy because I was expecting failure.
Okay.
So specifically, we did the 1.0 release. I ran it, it installed, everything was happy, right? I check for updates, nothing there. I then build the 101 release, check for updates, and then I just click the download button. And this thing didn't UAC prompt, and it was able to do all of this. I think what has happened is in our setup exe, because I didn't restart the app after
Yep.
I had launched, so I think it was still running with the elevated UAC from the setup, and so
Yep.
it got away with it.
So it probably didn't even need to UAC to do the update at all. Or did you not
It
even do that
didn't.
yet? Yeah.
Well, I hit the download. I haven't hit the restart and apply yet, but I was seeing this stuff where it was able to write to these files.
Yeah. So we'll need to solve that.
Yep.
And I think probably the way to solve that is to make the packages directory still exist in app data.
Package directory still exists in app data. Oh, okay, because you don't want the UAC prompt to occur just for the download.
Right.
That makes sense. Okay, I want to test one thing really quick before we get too carried away. So I'm gonna close this so there's no fancy elevation, right? I'm gonna go here, and I am going to go here, and I just want to blindly launch the app as
Well,
plain old me.
before you do that,
Okay.
let's launch this as an admin to start with. Just bear with me for a second.
Okay. So UAC prompt, and of course it goes to the wrong one.
Yeah. Okay, so it's running as an admin. So now let's publish a release and download it so that it's ready to be applied.
Okay. So if I come over here, I can do 102. I have to admit that I haven't leveraged your sample helper much, and it's kind of slick. So I was surprised. I went, oh shoot, I'm gonna have to go change the update location. No, it
Nope.
just worked.
I tried to do that with all the samples, but I think there's maybe one of them I wasn't able to make that work in.
Is it a C# one?
No. All the C# ones work, yeah.
I was gonna say C#. There's too much customization. Okay, so now if I hit here, check for updates, I should find it.
Right.
Sure
So
enough.
we want to download it because that we know that's going to need admin anyways.
Yep. And so this works.
Yeah. So then once it's like downloaded,
Mm-hmm.
now we can restart this as not an admin and try to apply it.
Okay. So, but once I close this, isn't it going to apply?
No.
Now I come down here, double click.
You might get a UAC prompt right away, actually, because it should have detected basically the waiting update and tried to apply it.
No, it's just I'm getting nothing.
Okay, run it
Okay.
in the console so we can see if there's some output.
Oh, yeah, that's another good option. What is the name of this thing? Oh, no dot.
No dots. Great, no update and no output.
Yeah, hang on. There's out. There's output. It's just probably not in a useful place. Like, I'm willing to bet it's crashing for something, and whoa,
No crashes.
no crashes, no start. Huh? Nah.
Okay. Well, we can short circuit this just temporarily by just running the updater and seeing if it can do the right thing. So just go up in your terminal one directory,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll call
Ooh.
update.exe apply.
Sorry, I was just checking the log real quick. See if there was
Yeah,
anything.
that's a good point.
I don't think there's anything helpful here.
No, that's just the download, nothing else executed. So it literally has not even
Done anything.
executed the updater yet. Yeah.
Okay, so and then this is
Apply.
yep.
And then we'll need to give it, well, we won't even need to give it the package. It'll find it if you just run this. Oh.
Oh
It
wait,
can't get a lock file. Yeah, of course.
wait. Oh, because hang on, huh?
Look, Velopack, this is a recent change I've made, that it, before doing anything, will try to acquire a lock file, so that it knows that it's the only person doing something. And it can't acquire a lock
Uh,
file.
but our UAC check is after that.
Yeah. Well, but the thing is, we don't want the lock file to be in a UAC protected directory, right? We want that to be in app data too, I think.
Right. So we just need to. So part of the issue here is because that location hasn't been fixed, we're now getting bit by that. Um. Okay. Just to confirm for myself, because I assume we're fixing that as the next step. If I run this as admin, make sure this guy does in fact launch. Yeah, and as soon as I relaunch as admin, it immediately starts to install the update.
That's what I was expecting, yeah.
Okay. Um. Oh, look at that.
Never seen this dialogue before?
Uh, no, I'm just surprised.
So you're in the current directory in Explorer, so that's issue number one.
Yeah,
And then you've got a PowerShell exe also in this directory somewhere.
yeah, like this one right here.
Well, that's not in the folder anymore, so it shouldn't be, but
Yeah,
because it's just the current directory that's the issue. It looks like that was happy with that, so oh no, PowerShell.
AWSH, which
You can just hit continue it and it'll blast it away.
got it. Oh yeah, that okay. Well, it blasted that window that I had CD'd up one. So apparently it really hated that. Okay, and there we go, and we are now launched and running. Okay, so so next step then is changing that app data directory to not be inside of program files. Yeah.
Right. So I guess
Hang on, this seems like a
this is
commit
going to
point.
be a bit interesting because right now the package directory is always relative to the root directory, right?
Hmm?
And that's true when it's installed, but also when it's running as a portable app. So people can obviously move that directory around, the Velopack app directory around, and the portable kind of, or the packages goes with it, and that will just work, right? So that's kind of neat. Like you could put an app on a flash drive or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
it'll just work. But now I guess we need to decide at some point that we've been installed to a privileged location, and therefore we shouldn't be doing that anymore. We need to use app directory or app data for this thing. It's the same kind of determination we need to make for shortcuts and registry entries, right? Like we shouldn't install this registry entry to the current user. We should install it to the local machine or the shortcuts.
Yeah.
So This is a, you know, not a super easy problem, I think.
Right. Because we'll have to effectively have something that says we've intentionally installed for all users, therefore do something different.
Hmm.
Because if it was just the app directory, my default setting is like, oh, we'll just write something somewhere to like registry or something that says, hey, here's where the app data directory goes on this machine, right? And then if it's populated, we use that. If it's not, we can fall back to the default thing. That way it handles the portable app case.
Well, we could store something in the registry along with the other like uninstall entries, which says, hey, this app requires admin. And, we've installed as an admin, like we've installed the shortcuts as an admin, we've installed the registry entries as an admin, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and then we could check that on startup, I guess. Well, even just the registry entries being in local machine would tell us that rather than current user, right?
Yeah, probably. Do you remember the key?
What do you mean?
I was gonna go look at my registry since I'm currently installed. Oh, I guess we haven't written them
Um,
yet, though, have we?
well, it'll install to current user, so I don't know exactly what the key is, but it'll be in the code here, in the Windows folder somewhere, probably. Registry, maybe?
That seems probable. Software Microsoft Windows current version uninstalled. That's right. Microsoft
You can just
Windows.
paste that at the top, right? Oh, that doesn't matter.
Oh, that's a good point. I could do that. We have to fix the um, right. And so now I should have the pack this guy here,
Hmm?
and we don't expect. See, Izzy, have a good day at work. Welcome, C-Film. We are working on Velopack, so it is a. There's a link for it if you want to check it out. It is a cross-platform installer framework. Sorry, thinking and talking is hard at the same time. Um, the is where do you get the root hive? This guy. This guy is used somewhere. Right there. So this is the point where we would need to make that determination, right?
Well, okay, so the setup, if we can decide at setup time,
Mm-hmm.
this is a privileged app, and then like, yeah, make the changes to the registry. I guess at all future times, we can just check the registry, and if it's installed to a local machine, or if we have that key that we set, then we'll just do things as if it's an all user. But we need to make that determination at setup time, I guess. Right now, we just allow you to install to any arbitrary path, so it's not necessarily clear that should be you know a privileged path. You know,
Right.
like
Oh,
I'm guessing. I guess what I'm saying is I'm not sure that we should just like make it up based on whether or not we needed admin. Because what if you run setup.exe as an admin, but you're not installing to a privileged directory, right?
right. That's a good point. Yeah, so then the question becomes how do we know which it is? Like we could set up exe could have a flag.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. Like maybe just a um, like dash dash local dash machine as an example,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what just turns it on to um, that mode, which obviously we would ask the user for in the new UI that we're going to eventually build but don't have yet.
Right. Right. So because in the UI, we were just going to give the user two drop-down options, right? Install for current user, install for all users, or thereabouts.
Well, I was gonna suggest that we do current, all, and then custom, but in custom, just assume that um, it's for the current user.
Right. You've put it in a special location, but we aren't going to assume that that's the all users location.
Yeah,
Got it.
that's kind of what I was thinking. Obviously, we could tweak that. Like, we might not get it right the first time around, but doesn't kind of change what we need to do right now, I don't think.
Agreed. Okay.
So what we need to do is, if you go to Velopack locator, it's at the top of this function. You can just F12 to it.
Back locator. Okay.
So this locator is kind of what has all the information about the current app. So if you look at the implemented functions below, it has like get packages dir, get temp dir, etc., get root path, get whatever, right? Like this is how the rest of Velopack figures out what it needs to do.
Got it. Side question,
So
really quick: is the triple / significant like it is in C
yes,
sharp? Is this
yeah, it's
the
documentation.
okay? Okay, sorry. Carry on. I was just noticing that
Yeah.
was different than what I saw elsewhere and wanted to check.
So this is now not in the bins crate. This is now in our librust crate. So this is publicly consumable by other people writing Rust applications. So that's why it's documented.
Got it. Okay. Oh.
So you said, oh,
Yeah, I'm just realizing one of my material design contributors was asking me Velopack questions over the weekend, and I'm realizing I may have said something slightly incorrect or at least misleading. I'll go back and correct it later. They were wanting basically API level access to the functionality that was inside of VPK, and I'm
yeah, we
realizing
don't
that
we don't expose VPK stuff.
right, and that's what I pointed to the GitHub repo of, hey, here's where the stuff lives if you want to go look, which is technically not a wrong answer, but it's also not a complete answer. So I may go update myself.
Okay. In any case, I think Velopack locator needs to have a new function here, which is privileged install or something, or is machine install, maybe is the most appropriate thing.
Yeah. Just looking at your naming scheme. Okay. So if I do uh, is local machine install, is that correct?
Sure. Doesn't matter as long as we know what it means.
Well, I just made it public, so it's going to matter a little bit. And then this is result of what? Bool?
Probably doesn't need to be a result. Um, like, do we want to expose an error in this case? We probably just want to return true or false.
That's a good point. Okay, Copilot, impress me.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Oh, come on. It's not bad, but
Well, yeah.
it's not right
Okay. And the other thing that we need to do is this is only going to exist for Windows.
for Windows. So I need that,
So that,
right?
yeah.
Well, see, Copilot kind of got it right. It just did the rest of it wrong.
Right. So see, that's so yeah. So look, did you see Copilot's suggestion was just to check if we're inside program files? Like, I mean, that would be also an option. I don't know how you feel about that, but rather than checking the registry, I guess.
Yeah, the only thing, like, that'll work in like 99.8% of the cases. Like it's very possible that somebody has a different directory where they're installing and they've changed the ACLs on it or something. Like, and actually, this is wrong too, because
What's wrong?
you'll never hit this case. C program files x86 already starts with this,
Oh yeah.
so
What happens on ARM 64 again? I forgot. I think
I don't
just
know.
the regular program files is for ARM 64 apps. I forget where then x64 apps go.
Yeah, I might have to check. I don't know. I'd be shocked if it wasn't still led with program files.
No, I think you're right. I think there are three program file directories on ARM.
Yeah.
I don't see anyone in the chat correcting us, so
Uh. There.
I guess we could also add a Mac implementation if we're gonna check by file path. So just duplicate line 290
Uh.
and then add Mac OS. Yeah. And then so I think actually no, what we need to do is it's kind of not like Windows, not like C sharp. We got to go CFG open parenthesis any open parentheses and then target OS Windows comma target OS Mac OS.
Uh. We'll say this is an area where I feel like this syntax is cleaner than in C sharp.
Well, it is nice because you can specify all as well. Like if you want to do kind of multiple in C sharp, you're kind of limited there. So yeah, so what I would do is that is the right thing there for Mac, but I would put that on a separate line and then also guard each one of these with either any Windows or any Mac OS.
I see.
So just see,
Does
yeah.
that mean do I have to do it like this if I do that?
So you won't have the pipes at all.
Oh, because I see. Because so the individual lines end up being
Yeah,
right, and
that's
then
right.
there.
That's right. Yeah.
And so because it's a single line in the function, I get away without the semicolon, right?
Yes, that's right. Well, yeah, because if you have if you do not have a semicolon, the last instruction will be returned. That's the way that works. So this is the last instruction. So if you just hit say, what is it complaining about here?
Expected semicolon found pound. Different expressions to consider using if CFG.
What is
It wants that.
I mean, okay, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just take the suggestion, I guess. But
Well, only if it works. Because now there's no else, and so it's complaining that there is no final
you don't
return.
need an else. Oh, oh yeah, fair enough. Because there is now a code path where we potentially don't return something. Yeah, so let's undo that.
Is it easier to just do this?
I guess I don't think that you should need that, but if it works, whatever.
I feel like I like symmetry.
Yeah, me too. Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, so I guess this will work. It's maybe not the best. So in the case where we're not a local machine install,
Mm-hmm.
but we still can't access the package directory, should we kind of fall back automatically to just program files? Like when we're checking whether we should use our relative packages directory or our app data packages directory, maybe the guard is if it's a local machine install or if the directory is not writable, then use app data.
I think I like that. Yeah, because that saves us if the person makes up their own directory and changes the ACLs for some reason.
Okay,
For people
so we
who
need
don't know
to,
that term, ACL, ACL, access control
yeah.
list.
So the next thing we need to do then is well, almost everything we need to do is in locator. But I think the only thing that we need to do probably is the get packages dir function is what needs to be smarter now. Because everything that we need to do unelevated happens in the packages directory, and that was by design.
Get bin, get main, get update path, get tempter, get packages
Packages
dir.
directory. There you
This
go.
guy here.
Yeah, so this needs to be smarter.
So we want to do something like uh, uh, is local machine install or was our other. Well, hold on. We put that other code elsewhere. We're gonna no
Yeah, that code is in
Windows land up here, isn't it?
it's in a
Windows
different
util.
crate. Yeah.
So that's gonna need to migrate or be duplicated. Right?
Yeah.
Um, is directory writable? This is the thing we were after.
Yeah.
So I need that guy.
There is a util module here. We could stick it in if we wanted it to be reusable.
This one here.
Yeah.
Do we want it? I kind of feel like we don't want this thing public.
Yeah, this module isn't public, but these
Ah,
functions are.
got it. Okay.
That's why these aren't documented. If this was a public crate, you'd be getting warnings right now because I have like .comment warnings on for this crate.
Got it. Okay. Perfect. So that means then I can do
Util.
oh
You know,
right.
just imported, I guess. That's fine. Because you just imported it. It's okay.
I will go fix my mistake. Don't make too big of a mess in here. At some point I will figure out how to not instinctively press the autocode button. So
That is something you have to do a little bit more in Rust is like kind of manually manage your usings if you want them to be clean. Like you can kind of just auto import stuff to start with, but then once you're done coding something, you've got to go back and clean it up, you know?
yeah. Oh wait, and I'm writing C# syntax again. Okay. So, well, I get okay. So, but we need to know
So the
that
line one, yeah, so we don't, well, okay, that's fine. Yeah, but
am I missing something?
that's okay. You just need to save
There we go.
and wait for it to do its thing. Um, the last line, 131, can just be path because you've already cloned it. And then, yeah, we just need to return a new path from here, which will be something else.
Yeah, so in this case, what is this temp one that it, because I saw
Temp is
this,
inside packages. Everything
uh,
writable is inside packages.
got it. So this is not actually, so where, there's nothing in here. The app data stuff is not actually part of this. It comes implicitly because that's where the app was installed. There's nothing in here that actually reaches over to app data, is there?
No, that's right. Everything in Velopack is currently completely portable and relative to the root directory, which is nice because that means you can move your Velopack apps around, right?
Yeah. Do we actually want to, in this case here, do we actually want to go to app data or do we want to go to temp?
Well, we need to, well, so we know we talked about the new package format.
Mm-hmm.
right? The new package format won't require us to keep like the old package around. But right now, in order for deltas to work, we need to have the old package to apply a delta to. So that means the
Uh,
package directory needs to be sticky,
got
right?
it. Okay.
I wouldn't even argue with you that like if we
Yeah.
have the new package format where we don't need the old package around and we can just do a delta update with the files we have on disk, then that would be much cleaner to just open up a temp directory and then delete it when we're done.
Got it.
In fact, we might want to just make that change like later once we have the new package format. It's just like eradicate this whole concept of a packages directory, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just create a temp directory, do our bits, and then delete it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess though for now the question is where does it know? Is that somewhere in like setup exe that it knows about app data? Because somewhere it's being told its
Mm-hmm.
install location.
Yeah, we just figure that out in setup. Yeah.
Um,
Known path RS is what you where you'll get the app data from. Your mouse is right on it,
known
on the
path.
left. The known
Oh,
path.rs
thank you.
there. Yeah. So this is the kind of thing that gets the local app data folder from Windows.
Got it. Okay, so it's just shelling out to the Win32, the same as the C sharp get well known file or whatever it is underneath environment.
Yeah.
Got it.
So probably we'll just need to duplicate this a little bit. Just copy the get known folder and get local app data. We don't need anything else. Um, then we can just slap that in util again.
Take that, and I come down here. I do that, but I'm going to take this to the top.
Also,
Right.
there's a bunch of those you won't need.
Yeah, because I only want the local app data. Right?
Yeah. And then also we'll need to add OS guards so that we only import this on Windows.
Got it. So,
Yeah. Same on those functions we brought down.
okay. Goes there. Goes there. And then result.
Yeah. So we're gonna have a few annoying things to deal with here. Um, so you know how I was telling you about results? Results have two. It takes two generic arguments generally. Your
Mm-hmm.
what you're returning on success and what error you're returning on error.
Mm-hmm.
In the other in the bins crate, I use something called anyhow, which basically replaces that second generic argument with just something dynamic, so it can handle any error type.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not best practice for library crates because this in librust is a crate being consumed by other people, right?
Yeah.
So we have a strongly typed error struct in this crate. So you need to provide a second argument for result here.
Okay. I guess though, what is it
So if you just
just
write error, that
like that?
might be the right one. Just hit F12 on that just to make sure that's going to ours. That is ours. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So then I assume the same thing. I got to propagate it up here. All right. That gets me through to there. And then,
We need to copy that function as well.
oh, got it. So I need to come up.
I generally don't like duplicating code like this, but we, like you said, this is stuff we don't really want to be public. And there's no such thing in Rust as like share internals with another crate, right?
Yeah.
So if anything that we put inside of librust, we can't share with the bins crate.
I'm gonna grab this guy here, and I'm gonna make you not public because I don't need you public. And then this just becomes this, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And then this needs this, and then I don't have this is here, right? And I need this guy, so I'm gonna need to grab that, and that goes up here, and let's see, I guess I can just do, right? So if I'm grokking my syntax properly, I can do that, right? And then that
Yeah.
goes like that, and then this goes away, and I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
And then we come down here, and right.
Okay, so I can explain that in a second.
Okay.
Well, let's do it now. So 2H string has a return type that's not compatible with our error. It's because the error types are not compatible, right?
Yep.
So if you just F12 on 2H string here for a second, let's have a look at what that's returning. And so that result is a what? So core result. So that error is what we're looking for. If you just F12 on that.
On the result here.
Yeah. And the error. Use error. I just want to figure out where this error is. So this is an error inside of the Windows crate. So we need to allow this error type to turn into our error type. So if you go to lib.rs now.
Lib.rs. That's where I am.
In our crate, sorry, on the left there, just above locator. Yeah. So see, so this is our error type here.
Yep.
And I'm using something called this error, and that's a crate which allows you to kind of like with an enum here, automatically kind of convert. So I'll give you an example. If we look at the JSON one on line 135,
35.
There's kind of this hashtag from, and that's basically telling this error to say that, hey, I can implicitly convert from a surd JSON error into this enum with that enum value, right?
Got it. Okay.
So we just need to add one of these for the Windows crate.
Let's see.
So we'll probably just call it like a system error or something, or Win32 error.
Right, and then